Hey Screamers, Lewis here from Fright Tour. It's time for our second review of the season, and this time we're only traveling about an hour and a half away from home. We find ourselves in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, standing on Fairmont Avenue, staring at gargoyles, 30-foot walls, a dark, decrepit facade. You probably already know what haunt I'm going to say, but before you do, let me describe it one more time. Gargoyles, dark, decrepit, 30-foot walls. It's been on MTV Fear. It's been on Ghost Hunters. It has had so many deaths behind these walls. It has had so much paranormal activity going on that Casper would probably run away himself. I am talking about the one, the only, the haunt name that is synonymous with the haunt industry. It's one of them, in fact. Terror Behind the Walls. Actually, wait. I don't know if it's Terror Behind the Walls anymore. I'm a little confused. When I get there, there's Terror Behind the Walls, but then there's also Halloween Nights. So I'm a little unsure. Did it go through a rebrand? Did it go under new ownership? I have no idea. So this is what we're going to call it, guys. We're going to call it Terror Behind the Walls. No, wait. We're going to call it Halloween Nights. There we go. Halloween Nights at Eastern State Penitentiary by Terror Behind the Walls. Maybe? Does that sound right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you actually know what's going on with this place, if they did a rebrand or if they're under new ownership. I'd like to know. But let's get to it, guys. Let's waste no more time. Let's talk about Terror Behind the Walls. But before we get into the review, it's time for you to subscribe to this channel. And of course, don't forget to ring that bell. When you ring that bell, you will get notified via email and on your YouTube channel itself of whenever I come out with one of my awesome video reviews. Yes, you will get notified of when I come out with one of these honest, unbiased, truthful, unpersuaded, uninfluenced reviews of haunted attractions in the Northeast from Maine all the way down to the Virginias. Yes, it's time for you to subscribe and ring that bell. Alrighty guys, let's get right into this review, shall we? Terror Behind the Walls, or Halloween Nights, whatever one you want to call it, has turned into a scream park. Years ago, it used to be just a continuous haunt with 6 attractions that took about 45 minutes to an hour to get through, depending on how busy and how long the line was. But now it's a broad attraction with 4 houses, scary. Then it has 4 bars, not so scary, a little drunky. And then it has gift shops, candy shops, museum tours, a beer garden. It has everything for anyone. Personally, I wasn't there for any of that. I was there for one thing and one thing only. I was there to get scared. The concessions, the beer garden, the bars, those are nice, added extras, but I don't take those in. I don't review those. So I'm there to review just the haunted attractions. So let's talk haunts. First up, we have Delerium. This attraction, I think, has been housed at Terror Behind the Walls for many, many years. It used to be called the 3D Experiment. Now it's just Delerium. This attraction for me it was really short. We walked in, the rooms were really large. 3D was, 3D. You can't mess up. You really could mess up 3D. You wouldn't paint it enough. But yeah, this place was popping. The visuals were popping. But that's all it really had going for it. I didn't get scared once. There was no startle scares. The actors kind of sat out in plain view. The group in front of me was like, is this supposed to be scary? There was nothing going on. And we were in and we were out. I was like, that can't be an attraction. That's like just an introduction. That's not an attraction. But it was. Moving on to the second attraction, which was Take 13. Take 13 was a Hollywood-style attraction where Hollywood-style actors from the 1920s died long, long ago, but their spirits roam the sets and the hallways of this attraction. I was a little confused. I don't know what this has to do with Eastern State Penitentiary. If you have been to the attraction before, you would know that throughout the years, Terror Behind the Walls usually kind of follows and sticks to staying with the prison theme. Take 13 was like on cloud 9. It was completely opposite. I completely had no idea what I was experiencing and what this had to do with the prison. Just like Delerium, I didn't get scared once. It was kind of an in and out type situation. The actors here felt more theatrical. There wasn't startle scares. They kind of roamed and walked and told you things and did a scene. And I guess that's all great, but I wanted to get scared. Where were the scares that this place once had? We walked both through Delerium and Take 13 within a matter of maybe 8 minutes. That was it. And then coming around the corner, this gigantic straightaway came into view, and the signage was so poorly lit. They had so many people standing around giving directions. You know, if you had proper signage, you wouldn't have to have so many people standing around telling people where to go. Those people could actually be in your attraction scaring people, maybe like Delirium and Take 13, just a side hint. But we didn't know where to go. We came out of Take 13 and we walked into this hallway, and there was like a candy shop, and then there was a bar, and there was this long straightaway down one of the cell blocks. I was like, is this the way we go? So I thought we were leaving. Like, I thought this was the exit. But as you come around, you're then told, okay, well, if you walk up further, there's 2 more attractions, the machine shop and the Crypt. So we followed this like chain link rope, and we walked up to the machine shop. Now, machine shop, out of the 4 attractions, was probably the best of the night. It used the original, walls, rooms, and hallways of an actual cell block. It used the equipment that was once in there. There were a lot of startle scares. It was dark. It was creepy. It was what I came to know of Terror Behind the Walls. It was kind of a refresher. It was the best out of the 3. Would I say that it was on the same caliber of what this place has been known for? Absolutely not. It was better than Delirium and Take 13, but on no means was it anything that I have experienced in the past at this location. And let me talk about that really quick. I know that Terror Behind the Walls has been reviewed by us before. That was many, many years ago. It's gone under a huge makeover. Like I said, it's a Scream Park now. It's really not just a continuous haunt. You can kind of walk around and roam and do things as you please. You can enjoy a beer. You can have some candy. You can go sit at a VIP bar. You can watch some dancers. It's completely immersive in the sense that it's more of an overall experience rather than just a haunt. So let me get that out of the way. So I felt that it was kind of necessary for me to go back and give it an actual video review rather than a written review, because I can really sit with the pen and paper and make a really, really long review, can't I? But I digress. Let's get back to it. So Machine Shop, unfortunately, while it was better than Delirium and Take 13, I wouldn't say that it essentially connected to the prison theme, but it was close enough to keep me entertained. And like I said, there were a good amount of startling scares. It was dark. It was foggy. The lights were really dim. So it pleased me, and I was like, okay. Maybe now we're getting back to it. Maybe those like 2 attractions were just warm-up attractions. Then I thought, well, maybe they weren't even attractions at all. Maybe like there's 2 more that I'm not knowing, and those were just like kind of introduction. Nope. After we left Machine Shop, we make a beeline right to the next attraction, and that is the Crypt. Now, it didn't click at first while I'm standing in line getting ready to go in. We go through a bus. You come off the bus. You go down a ramp, and you go into what used to be Lockdown. So I know my attractions at this place. If you don't think I do, I do. This Lockdown was where you basically were given your clothes, you were given your cell number, and you went in and you were locked down. So like you walked through where there were unruly inmates, unruly prison guards, and they were putting you in your cell, and it was loud, it was rambunctious, it was crazy, it was in your face, it was dark, it was foggy. It had everything dark, foggy, rambunctious, crazy, in your face, loud. It had all of that. But when I actually started walking through it, and I'm like, why do the actors have on these chintzy, $1 cheap vampire capes? Wait, the Crypt. You idiot. It's a vampire attraction. I didn't read the description on the website. Yes, I'm guilty. I did not read it. A vampire attraction at Eastern State Penitentiary. If that's not out in left field, I have no idea what is. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be a little too picky here. But you have such a beautiful, beautiful backdrop. You have one of America's most haunted prisons, okay? It's been featured on so many shows. It's literally like someone in the creative team stood up and said, hey, just to let everyone know, I'm kind of done with the prison theme. We'll still be here, but we're going to keep it completely like non-connected and have nothing to do with the prison. That's going to be our theme this year. I was like, what am I walking through? What do vampires have to do with a prison? And it didn't look like a crypt. It was still like Lockdown. You could tell it was Lockdown. It was cell blocks. It was iron railings. It was everything that lockdown was in the past, except for these actors with white faces and really cheap vampire capes. Oh, and it was loud as hell. Okay, there were so many animatronics that were so loud. It was foggy, but they were so loud that I've never been in a crypt before, but if I was in a crypt, I would expect it to be really, really quiet, right? Like you could hear a pin drop, or you could hear like a water drop, like drip, drip. No, you couldn't hear anything. So everything from A to Z was totally ineffective because it was so loud in there, and all I kept focusing on were these $1 vampire capes. Like, if you're gonna do it, at least make it look like, I don't know, catacombs. Like, cover the walls in skulls and have vines and rocks and stuff like that. It looked like a cell. Like, these vampires were... It looked like, okay, they put in cell block 13, they said, okay, this is gonna be our vampire section, so we're gonna put all our vampires in the prison and in the cell. Like, really? This is what you could come up with? This is not the terror behind the walls that I used to know. And it bothers me to say that because I'm not supposed to be comparing it to past years. Screw that, I will. I will. This is not the terror behind the walls I once knew. It literally is like someone stepped up at a creative meeting and said, yo, done with the prison theme. We're still going to be here, but we're not going to have anything to do with Eastern State Penitentiary. No guards, no inmates, nothing to do with it whatsoever. But keep the bus. Keep all of the guards directing traffic about where to go. But yet in the haunts, we're going to have vampires, Hollywood actors, clowns, and machinery. Okay, the machinery, like I said, goes with it to a certain extent. But this is Eastern State Penitentiary, guys. This is terror behind the walls. This was not what I was used to in the past. It was completely, 100% such a massive letdown. I was so upset when we came out of the crypt and our faces hit moonlight and that was it. And it was time to go home. I turned around and Joe was with me on this, everyone. Yes, Joe, my old partner in crime for these reviews. Joe was with me on this. And I looked at him and I said, what did we just go through? This was nothing like what we've experienced in the past at Terror Behind the Walls. So overall, Terror Behind the Walls, or Halloween Nights, whatever you want to call it, I'm still confused on the name and where that's going. I feel like they are trying to be inclusive with everything and everyone. I get it. I guess that's maybe a new marketing campaign. I have no idea. You don't need 4 bars. You don't need all of that extracurricular activity to do. I mean, at least not for me. If any of you enjoy it, or if you're watching this and you're thinking I'm being nitpicky about it all, and you think, oh, who the hell cares? Let them have 7 bars. Let them have a candy shop where you make your own lollipops. And Lewis, shut up. Just stop talking about it. But for me, I just don't go there for that type of stuff. I go to get scared. I go to walk through the haunts. I want to be scared. I don't want to sit at a bar and do that type of stuff. But yet, I'm not a regular consumer. Okay, I go to about like 12 of these a year. So for me, it's totally different. So we'll etch that out of the review, but it's still going to be in the video. But overall, this place has completely went downhill in my opinion. I don't know what's happened. I'd love to know. I would love for someone at Eastern State Penitentiary to reach out to me and give me a rundown on what the heck happened. Why they went from being such an intense, in-your-face 45-minute walk of complete terror, okay, to, I don't know what to call it. I have no idea. I'm still, like, it's been 2 nights since I went. I'm still baffled to, like, what did I experience? Like, I can remember sitting in, like, line and looking at those 30-foot walls, and, like, you went inside and you signed the waiver, which you don't sign anymore. And then you walk around this, and they switched it. You used to go to the left. Now you go to the right. So they completely made it backwards. And there's so much more. Like, you go all the way to the back of the penitentiary, which you used to not go back there. You weren't allowed. Now that's the beer garden. So, like, okay, you've opened it all up, but you've totally diminished the size of your haunt. I was completely let down. So sadly, guys, Terror Behind the Walls will get a 1 skull out of 5 for me. It's sad because it's last review, it's written review for me. Yes, we are updating the review. It is on this year's tour. It is getting a video review. I don't care if you kick and scream. It is losing its 3-star and it's going down to a 1-star. I can't. I'm just at a loss for words. I mean, we've been sitting here for what, 10 minutes? I'm obviously not at a loss for words. I can describe it like all hell, but such a letdown. Alrighty, guys, that is it for the second review of the season. And like I said, I'm a little upset that my baby, my pride and joy, Eastern State Penitentiary, Terror Behind the Walls, that was honestly one of my favorites, kind of let me down this year. Hopefully next year or in a few years, they kind of kick it back up. But we have so many more places to go. We have a total of, I believe, 9 more places we're going to. So it's time for you again, if you didn't catch on, if you caught in halfway through, it's time for you to subscribe and ring that bell. So that way you get notified. Find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. Follow me all night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, where I scream at haunted attractions from Maine to the Virginias. Guys, it has been fun. It was nice seeing you. Until next time, happy screaming.